So I just recently rented Little Big Planet 3 from Gamefly just to see what new additions were made to the music sequencer. And for those who don't know, I used to make a lot of music in the previous game, Little Big Planet 2. And I already explained why I left in my previous video, which was fucking 30 minutes long, and I don't feel like repeating myself. So if you want to know what the fuck I'm talking about, just go watch that video. So I put the game in my PS3, booted it up, installed the fucking day one patch, chewed through whatever story mode crap it needed me to, and then I went straight into create mode. There are only 8 new instruments. 8 new instruments. There were 42 instruments introduced with the music sequencer in Little Big Planet 2. There were 17 new instruments in the Move Pack DLC. And there are only 8 new instruments in the third game. And 7 of them are percussion kits. They are as follows, and forgive me if I mispronounce any of them. The bongo, the conga, the djem, Jesus Christ, the dubstep kit, are you fucking kidding me? The doombek, the electronic kit, the hand, and the junk kit. And the one new melodical instrument, the ukulele. Really, guys? Only one new melodical instrument? Let alone one that already kind of sounds like the nylon string guitar? I mean, Sumo Digital went the length to make new characters, 16 layers, along with objects being able to seamlessly transition between them. I mean, guys, a DLC pack for $10 has more new instruments than a full retail $60 game. Does that seem normal to you? There are so many other instruments that they could have made, like a timpani, a steel drum, a saxophone, a slap bass, a new electric guitar sound, preferably one that sounds like the one in Mega Man X. That would kick ass. Maybe some other chiptune sounds, like from Amiga and Commodore 64. The other 4 choir vowels, a recorder, a pan flute, a church and rock organ, a piano that doesn't sound like shit, and all they could give us was a ukulele. Hell, new instruments didn't have to be the only thing in the third installment. I mean, they could have added something like a Music Sequencer Pro that had all the capabilities of the original music sequencer, but it could do so much more. For instance, how about having the instruments seamlessly pan from one speaker to the other without having to use individual tracks to set different pan settings? And hell, do the same thing with the volume and reverb as well. And that way we won't have to resort to using the global audio tweakers. How about the ability to make an intro to a looping song? Like the from the Super Mario Bros. Overworld theme. You know, where the first few seconds just play one time and then loops everything else. The closest that we can get to doing that is just using 2 separate music sequencers. But when we do that, the second sequencer takes a second to fade out the previous one before it starts playing. Or hell, why not have the ability to adjust said fade time, or remove it entirely? Hell, even add a crossfade option between the 2 sequencers. And hell, if you did that, then how about if you copied one of the music sequencers and placed it somewhere else, and all you did was adjust the second sequencer's options, like the channel volumes, reverb length and type, even the tempo and swing if done properly. And then if you trigger the second sequencer, it starts at the exact same spot the first one left off, but with the new settings. What about something basic, like being able to place 48th and 64th notes, you know, without us having to resort to using a glitch? You know, kind of like what they did with the fucking 16 layers in the game. Or how about dropping the minimum echo time from 1 second to 1 millisecond? Or increasing the tempo cap from 240 beats per minute to, like, fucking 999 or some shit. I mean, there was just so much more. So much more that they could have done. So much reason to justify the $60 price tag. Look, this is a new game. This isn't just some stupid spin-off title that nobody's gonna give two fucks about in 6 months. No, this is the definitive third installment to the series. Music in the Little Big Planet community is quite a big deal. I mean, there are people who still play Little Big Planet 2 to this day for the sole purpose of making music. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's even a YouTube channel made just for that shit. I mean, you'd think that the music sequencer would have gotten a significant amount of new additions and improvements to warrant buying LBP3, but what it has now, you know, the new melodical instrument, the few percussion instruments, and this fucking dubstep piece of... It's just not good enough of a reason to make the jump. But at the same time, you know, with most other sequels getting the same less is more treatment, I kind of anticipated that it was going to happen to Little Big Planet. You know, what with most people being the mindless fucking sheep they are and just sitting on the developers' bananas without question. But 8 instruments is not even close to warranting a buy from me. And lastly, if by some crazy-ass miracle Sumo Digital actually plans to make a Music Sequencer Pro as DLC, then they better make that shit free, because LBP music composers deserve better than this. 8 new instruments for $60. What a goddamn disappointment.